Hey guys, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. I hope that you guys have been appreciating the posts I've been putting out there, not only on INFJ stuff but on other things as well. I hope that you enjoyed it and learned from it. Oh man. In this video, I wanted to speak to you guys about how INFJs only have really two speeds that they go at. It's either they're stopped and they're still and not doing anything, or they're going at a speed of light. You know, they're going so fast and they're burning themselves out. They're in the process of burning themselves out. As always, with everything that we do as INFJs, I feel that we have really a hard time with moderation. We really don't actually know what moderation even means. We don't even know how to spell it, right? I mean, like, we don't know how to stay in the middle. We don't know how to be in the middle with anything. Most of the time, if we're going to do anything, we're going to be at one extreme or the other. We really try for balance, and I think that's one of our main goals as an INFJ, especially for me, is to kind of always be moving closer and closer to that state of balance. But I'm always swaying back and forth between the two extremes of being too much and then being too little, doing too much and then doing too little, saying too much and then saying too little. It's just basically how it goes. I'm constantly swaying back and forth like a pendulum between the two extremes. And so in this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about burnout and about how this state of not knowing moderation, of not knowing balance, is causing us to deplete ourselves, obviously, or not do anything at all. So the two extremes, or the two states that we kind of pendulum between or pendulate between in this regard, is either we'll just be sitting in our rooms reading manga all day long, or watching anime, or reading books, or listening to podcasts, not actually doing anything, but just wasting our time, basically, in its essence, in its essence, basically. What we're doing is we're not doing our work, but we're using our time to do something else. Now, of course, we could also just be sitting there and staring off into space, and I have spent many an hour doing that, just sitting there staring off into space, not actually doing anything at all, which is fine with me. Sometimes that's just what you need to do. But I have noticed that more often than not, I'll actually be spending my time doing things. So basically, I'm spending my time reading books, or reading manga, or watching anime, or listening to podcasts, or getting obsessed with a YouTube channel, or something like that, and just kind of focusing all my time and effort on that rather than doing my work. So I know in my head that I should be doing my work, maybe writing my novel or editing it, or doing some of these videos, or thinking about these videos at least, or coming up with some topics, or something related to work. And I know that I might be a little bit behind, or that I have things on my to-do list that I should really be getting to. But instead of actually doing all that stuff that I know I have to do, that I should be doing, that are on my list, instead of getting to them, instead of that, what I end up doing is I end up wasting time, basically. I know that I can't. I know I'm in a state of mode, or a mode in which I can't really function, or can't really work, or I don't really want to, or I'm not in the mood, or I just don't feel like it, or there's a billion excuses in my head. And so instead of doing work, I'm doing nothing, right? And so we either go through this extreme, which is doing nothing, or we go to the other extreme. And I go to this extreme a lot as well. So I go back and forth, obviously. And this other extreme is all about doing too much, going all out, going so hard and fast into your work that you have nothing else. You don't do anything else. I have moments and days and weeks sometimes where I'm working 10, 15 hours a day, just going crazy, working so hard, working on so many different things, making up work for myself rather than taking rest, or eating food properly, or taking care of myself. Instead of actually doing all those self-care routines, I just get obsessed with the idea of doing more and more and more and more. And no matter how much work I do, no matter how many things I check off my to-do list, no matter how much I get done, it's still never enough. There is this anxiety, this kind of chirping voice inside of me, this noise inside of me that's always anxious and always telling me that I need to do more. You have to do more. You haven't done enough. You haven't done enough. No matter how much I get done, it's still never enough, right? And so those are two extremes we kind of pendulate between as INFJs. And I think most people actually go through these two extremes. I think we just go through these extremes more extremely. We just go through these extremes more often. And I think this is just the way we maybe perhaps do work. And so as I've kind of grown wiser and older, I've realized that this is just a part of my personality. It's part and parcel of it. I just have to get used to the idea that this is how I do work. I shouldn't say never, but I feel like I'm never going to get to a state where I'm just going to be able to do my work in a state of positivity and non-anxiety. And I don't think I'll ever, maybe I'll get to that point when I'm 60 or 70, perhaps, hopefully sooner. But at least in this moment in time, right now, I'm in a space where I have to, or I kind of go through these pendulum motions between these two extremes. So I go between doing too much, spending maybe days or weeks doing a lot of work, and then spending days or weeks doing nothing at all, getting nothing done at all. I'll have things on my to-do list and I check off nothing, and I'm just sitting there at the end of the day thinking, well, at least I meditated today. That's what I usually think. I'm like, all right, cool. All right, I haven't gotten anything real done, any of my work done, any of my to-do list items done, but at least I got up today and I had a couple of meals and I meditated. So that's a great day. Yahoo! But basically what I'm trying to say with this video, basically the reason I wanted to do this video is because I wanted to perhaps draw your attention to the fact that this is how we are. Now, my fervent desire with all these videos is to make you guys realize your true essence, your true nature, right? The reason for that, obviously, is that the moment you realize the way your true nature works, you can start working with it rather than against it. The most important thing with this idea is that when you know that you have those moments or your days where you can't do anything or won't do anything or don't want to do anything, instead of fighting against it, instead of saying, no, I'm going to get work done, I'm going to push myself, I'm going to prod myself, I'm going to beat myself down, I'm going to get stuff done, instead of going into that mode of wanting to kill yourself and get work done, I think the best idea in those days, on those moments, in those moments, is to just let go. To just say to yourself, all right, cool. I know I'm not going to get any work done today. I know I'm in my mode right now of laziness or of stopping, of wanting to be just here without doing anything real. If you know that you are in that mode at that moment in time, you can kind of adjust your schedule to accommodate that mode. And that's what I've been really trying to do with my own schedule, is that when I know that I'm going to get a lot of work done, I get a lot of work done. So I'll just kind of squeeze in all the work that I can in those moments, in those days, because I know I have a lot of energy, I have a lot of motivation, I know I have a lot of gumption, I just want to get stuff done, and I get it done, right? And so I'll squeeze a lot of work in those days. But I know that there is the other side of the pendulum coming soon, where I'm going to go to a mode of not wanting to do anything at all. And so I kind of adjust my schedule in a way where I get a lot of my work done on those days where I want to get a lot of work done. And then those days that I know that are coming, that I don't want to do anything, I'll have maybe a couple of things on those days. I'll adjust my schedule so that I don't have that many things to do, perhaps one or two things. Really, the most important thing that I try to get done every day is to write my words for my novels. And so even on those days where I don't feel like doing anything, I'll just do that one thing, and that's it. And then the rest of the day, I'll just sit around being lazy. And so lazy for us is not really lazy, but being lazy in a way where I'll just be sitting and reading manga, or I'll go for a long walk with no real purpose to it. I'll just be spending my time eating a lot of food, finding a lot of good restaurants, just doing things that I'm not related to work, not related to anything at all, just lazing around, just stopping myself for a few seconds, taking that time to recuperate, rejuvenate, and refresh myself so that I can kind of go back into the other swing of things where I want to do a lot of work again, right? And so we go back and forth like that. But again, the reason I wanted to do this video is to remind you of that fact, or to maybe, draw your attention to the fact that this is a definite possibility if you're an INFJ, or if you're a human being in general, that you go through these swings. It's kind of like a circadian rhythm of sorts, a work rhythm if you want to call it. So you know how we have a circadian rhythm, the 24-hour rhythm. We sleep during the day, sleep during the night, and we are awake during the day. Maybe some people sleep during the day. But we have that rhythm, and we follow the sun, the motion of the sun. So when the sun goes down and it's dark, then we know that it's nighttime. It's time for us to start getting into the phase of resting. and then as soon as the sun comes up, we know that it's time for us to wake up again. And so we follow that circadian rhythm. Same thing I think follows for our work rhythm as well. There is a rhythm that our body follows or our work follows, where we spend a lot of our time doing a lot of work on certain days, and then certain other days we spend our time doing nothing, right? So if you have an idea of what your rhythm looks like, you can kind of adjust your schedule around it, and then do the work that you need to do and get it done when you need to get it done. But then when you know that your lazy phase is coming up, or your stopping phase, whatever you want to call it, you know that it's coming up, you can just relax and say, okay, cool, I've taken care of work, I've been working really hard for the last few weeks, I can take this week or a few days off and do nothing if I need to, because I know I've kind of adjusted my schedule in that manner. Now, of course, if you work 9 to 5, that's going to be a little bit of an issue. I don't know, I haven't worked 9 to 5 in 3 years now, so I don't really know how you're going to do that, but there are ways obviously to accommodate your schedule, accommodate your 9 to 5 as well. Maybe make sure that you have a certain time where you can just relax at work, or do some social activities, or whatever it might be. There's different ways that you can adjust your schedule in that way as well. You know your schedule best, you know your work best. You don't know, I have no idea, I can't give you a judgment on that, but there is a way to adjust that, I'm sure, as well. Again, I hope this makes sense to you guys. I hope that I was able to explain myself to you. If you guys have any questions about this video or any other video that I've done, please let me know. You can comment below, obviously that's the best way to get a hold of me, or you can email me. I think that's another way of getting a hold of me as well. But please, only questions related to the videos, alright? Again, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.